Angel, let's talk about Opus 131. We're doing a Beethoven concert which includes this famous string quartet, which you're conducting in a version for string orchestra. It's not the first time that Opus 131 has been performed by a string orchestra. It's one of those pieces, like maybe the Hammerklavier Sonata or the Missa Solemnis, where no one performance can begin to completely compass the work. And one of the problems doing it with a string quartet is that the writing is often symphonic, and we feel that there's not enough weight. So people have been experimenting with the notion of doing this piece in other ways. I know that Bernstein thought that his recording of Opus 131 with the strings of the Vienna Philharmonic was one of his best recordings.
Mm-hmm.
You've listened to that recording.
Mm-hmm.
What was your reaction to it?
Well, what you say is very impressive, and actually a great musician like Dimitri Mitropoulos decides that this extraordinary string quartet is somehow unable to project all the energy, all the power of the music. And he decides that it has to be done by a string orchestra. And, of course, Bernstein somehow inherits those materials.
So Metropolis transcribes it for string orchestra,
Exactly.
and Bernstein, who is to some degree a protege of Metropolis, decides he's going to use Metropolis' transcription.
So I'm sure that Bernstein listened to Metropolis conduct this with the New York Philharmonic when he was a conductor. Probably that was done because I actually was able to access the archives of the New York Philharmonic, which is an extraordinary tool, and research on the Bernstein's archives, which are part of the New York Philharmonic archives, and see that this Metropolis version was there. So
used by Bernstein,
exactly,
and probably further annotated by Bernstein.
By Bernstein as well. So that was an extraordinary exercise of research. I was having a very good time watching the bowings, which are very romantic, are not now that you are dealing with a larger group of strings, you need a complete different bowings.
Wow.
So also the use of course, using the string orchestra, you have another voice, which you are a lower instrument, which is the double bass. So how do you make sure that that voice is acting in the appropriate moment, so that the cello, the double bass, the cello voice is not always present?
So you have 5 parts rather than 4.
Exactly.
In the 5th part, the double bass part is doubling the cello part, but not all the time.
Not all the time.
So you have to decide when do you want to use it.
And Metropolis decides that, and it's an extraordinary way of doing it. I mean,
And you also have to choose what octave the double basses will play in.
exactly. Sometimes are playing in unison with the cello, sometimes are doing an octave lower than
Right.
that. So it's the piece, it changes completely. It becomes a 20th century piece rather than a early 19th century piece. I'm very excited about doing it.